Ferrari just did something no team dared to attempt. And now the entire Formula One grid is in shock. Lewis Hamilton, the driver who didn't touch a single podium last year, just broke the Barcelona test. The time? 1 minute, 16.3. That's within 6/10 of a real Grand Prix lap. On cold tires. In January. With a car that isn't even finished yet. But that's not the part that has everyone scared. Because Ferrari didn't just go fast. They did it while hiding something. 3 days. 0 mechanical failures. A completely new concept. And a confidence behind the scenes that feels different. Here's the crazy part. The version of the SF-26 that dominated the timesheets is not the final version. The real car hasn't even shown up yet. And when you hear what they're planning next, you'll understand why Red Bull, Mercedes, and McLaren are already shifting their Bahrain strategies. What happened in Barcelona wasn't just testing. It was a declaration. And what it revealed might be the biggest Ferrari secret in 10 years. It starts with silence. Barcelona was closed off. No fans. No reporters. No live broadcasts. Just 10 teams and secrets. What you're about to hear didn't come from press conferences. It came from inside. From whispers in the paddock. From the data nobody was supposed to see. Because Ferrari showed up different. Not just in performance. In attitude. Gone was the nervous energy. Gone was the uncertainty. Instead, there was control, purpose, confidence. And then came the laps. On Tuesday, they rolled out the SF-26 for the first time. No glitches. No smoke. No issues. Just lap after lap after lap. 84 in a single session. Without a single red flag. And that was just the beginning. Here's where things get serious. By Friday, Lewis Hamilton had completed over 85 laps on his own. That is more than a full race and a half? On a completely new car? Under a completely new rule set. Think about that. New hybrid systems. New active aerodynamics. New tire behavior. New fuel characteristics. And Ferrari? Didn't break once. Most people missed this part. Ferrari wasn't chasing headlines. They weren't chasing glory laps. They were checking boxes. Hitting every target. Quietly. Until they decided not to be quiet anymore. At the end of the final session, with the sun going down, with every other team winding down, Hamilton went out. One last run. Soft tires. Low fuel. One attempt. And when the time appeared on the unofficial timing boards, a ripple went through every garage. 1 minute. 16.348. Faster than George Russell. Faster than Norris. Faster than Verstappen. And just 6/10 slower than the actual fastest lap from the Spanish Grand Prix. Set under ideal race conditions. In summer. But remember this. Ferrari wasn't even trying to be the fastest. Fred Vasseur later admitted it. The SF-26 in Barcelona was a baseline spec. No upgrades. No new parts. No aggressive engine modes. They were there for one reason only. Reliability. And they nailed it. But reliability was just the surface. Beneath that calm, there's a transformation happening. And it starts with Lewis Hamilton. This is not the same man who walked out of Yas Marina last year. This is someone who has been waiting. For the right car. For the right team. For the right moment. And on that final lap? He drove like he found it. But here's the part nobody's talking about. Ferrari isn't just faster. They're smarter. Because while McLaren and Red Bull brought cars near full race spec, Ferrari held back. They chose data over performance. Endurance over speed. And yet, they still ended up on top. So now you have to ask, what happens when they stop holding back? What happens when Ferrari takes the leash off? We'll come back to that. Because before they go full power, there's something else you need to know. It's not just about Hamilton. It's not even about Leclerc. It's about the machine itself. And what Ferrari built this winter might be the biggest leap in concept since the turbo-hybrid era began. So what exactly is the SF-26? And why does it feel alive? Let's break it down. First, it's not just a new car. It's the first Ferrari built under the most extreme rule changes Formula One has seen in over a decade. Every system, every component, every philosophy has been reset. And Ferrari didn't just adapt. They reinvented. Underneath the red carbon fiber, there's a shift you can feel. Less aero grip, more movement, sharper reactions. This car doesn't glide through corners like the machines of last year. It snaps. It bites. It demands your full attention. And the drivers? They love it. Charles Leclerc, after his longest run on Friday, said something that raised eyebrows. It's oversteery. It's nervous. but you can catch it. Think about that. He didn't complain. He didn't ask for more grip. He praised the fact that the car fights back and still obeys. That kind of control and instability. That's exactly what drivers like Leclerc and Hamilton live for. But that's not the real revelation. Here's where everything shifts. Ferrari was one of the only teams to deliberately test in wet conditions. While others stayed in the garage, Ferrari went out. Why? To test something the rest of the grid was not ready for. The new active aero system. It's one of the most complex changes in the 2026 rulebook. And in wet weather, it becomes even more unpredictable. Every team knows it. Every team fears it. And Ferrari? They dove in, on day one. Leclerc drove with the front wing in partial deployment mode. A configuration designed only for wet tracks. Manual toggles. Instant reactions. Live energy harvesting and release, while sliding at 200 kilometers an hour. That's not just brave. That's strategic madness. But it gave them something the others still don't have. Data. Real-world telemetry. On one of the hardest systems to simulate. In conditions nobody else dared to test. And the benefit? It's massive. Because if a single Grand Prix this season turns wet, Ferrari will already know how the SF-26 behaves. When to activate aero, when to hold it, when to back off, and when to launch. Most teams are guessing. Ferrari is planning. But there's one more layer. Something subtle. Something quiet. And it's the most dangerous part of all. Ferrari looks calm. That's new. This isn't the frantic, scattered Ferrari we've seen in past years. The one that panics under pressure. That throws away strategy. That self-destructs when it matters. This version? Listens. Learns. Executes. Hamilton even said it out loud. The team feels different this year. There's a structure now. He wasn't talking about the car. He was talking about the people. And when a driver like Hamilton says that, he's not just sharing an opinion. He's sending a message. To everyone. But especially to Mercedes. And to Red Bull. Because if this Ferrari team is finally unified, finally thinking like winners, then all that's left is performance. And from what we've seen in Barcelona, that might already be there. Still think this was just a fast lap? Still think the paddock isn't worried? Then you haven't heard what Haas just revealed about the Ferrari engine? And that changes everything. Let's talk about Haas. Because something strange happened. On the final day in Barcelona. And nobody seemed to notice. While the world was watching Hamilton's headline lap, while Ferrari was grabbing all the attention, Haas was doing something far more important. They were proving a point. And it had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with Ferrari. Here's what happened. In the morning session, Ollie Bearman, the 21-year-old reserve driver, went out and completed 106 laps. That's 2 full race distances. No red flags. No issues. Just lap after lap after lap. And in the afternoon, Esteban Ocon added 85 more. Combined? That's 191 laps. In a single day. No other team even came close. But here's the part that matters. Haas was running Ferrari's engine. And it didn't flinch. That's a data set Ferrari couldn't have produced alone. Because Haas was pushing that power unit to its absolute edge. And it just kept going. Even McLaren and Mercedes didn't reach that kind of mileage in one day. And this is where it gets really interesting. Bearman wasn't just logging laps. He was giving real-time feedback on how the energy systems responded at full deployment. And he said something that stopped engineers in their tracks. This car feels seriously powerful. The battery hits hard. And the recovery settings? They're not even aggressive. Let that sink in. A junior driver. In a satellite team. With limited seat time. Saying the engine felt like it had more to give. That's not just promising. That's terrifying. Because if the customer team is already impressed, you can be sure the factory team has a lot more in reserve. But it goes deeper. Ferrari knew exactly what they were doing. They used Haas as a live stress test. Why risk pushing your own car to the limit, when you can let your customer team do it for you? And it worked. 0 failures. Full reliability. Data shared across both garages. And just like that, Ferrari validated their entire power unit architecture, without even needing to say a word. But there's one more clue. The lap times. Bearman didn't set purple sectors. He didn't go headline hunting. But his sector delta compared to Hamilton was remarkably close. Now combine that with Ferrari's baseline spec, and you get the real picture. They're holding back. On purpose. And nobody knows how much. This is the moment where rival teams get nervous. Because it's not just about Ferrari being fast. It's about them being in control. Fast is dangerous. Controlled is lethal. And when the customer team is logging record mileage with the same engine, it means the platform is stable. It's ready. And more importantly, it's scalable. So when Ferrari drops the Bahrain upgrades, they won't be guesses. They'll be refinements. Which brings us to the real question. If Ferrari is already this strong, without showing their full hand, what happens when they do? Because according to team insiders, the Barcelona car was missing one very specific component. A component that could change the entire midfield battle overnight. We'll get to that. But first, there's one more piece of this puzzle. It's not technical. It's personal. And it starts with Lewis Hamilton. This is not the same Lewis Hamilton. This isn't the 7-time world champion chasing records. It's not the media-friendly icon smiling for cameras. This version of Hamilton looks focused, quiet, calculated. And that should worry every team on the grid. Because something changed over the winter. And you can feel it. Last year, he couldn't even get on the podium. For the first time in his career. 0 wins. 0 top 3s. Nothing. But he didn't complain. He didn't lash out. He waited. And now, as the new season begins, he's exactly where he wants to be. Inside Ferrari. Inside the most powerful brand in motorsport. With a blank sheet of paper, and a machine built from scratch. This is not coincidence. This is a plan. And the test in Barcelona was the first real signal. When Hamilton stepped out of the SF-26 on Friday, he didn't celebrate. He didn't play games. He said 8 words that hit harder than any lap time. This team feels like it's ready to win. He didn't say, might win. He didn't say, has potential. He said ready. That's not just a quote. That's a message. And it's not for fans. It's for Mercedes. It's for Red Bull. It's for everyone who thought he was finished. But here's what most people missed. Hamilton's pace in Barcelona was just the surface. Behind the scenes, he's been pushing for structural changes inside Ferrari. He demanded more control over development, more direct involvement with engineering, and even insisted on replacing his race engineer. A move that raised eyebrows across the paddock. Because nobody touches their engineer lightly. It's a relationship built over years. But Hamilton did. And that tells you everything. He's not here to blend in. He's not here for a farewell tour. He's here to build something. Something that works. And guess what? So far, it is working. Every target hit. Every test completed. And a team that suddenly looks like it believes again. But maybe the most telling moment of the week came when Hamilton was asked about the car. He didn't call it dominant. He didn't call it perfect. He called it fun. Fun. Let that sink in. Because last year, the car was uncatchable. He spun. He fought the rear end. He called it unpredictable. But now, it's fun. It's alive. It talks back, and he likes it. That's the most dangerous kind of Hamilton. The one who feels connected. Because when he trusts the car, he becomes something else. And if you think this is just emotional fluff, you haven't been paying attention. Michael Schumacher didn't win at Ferrari just because of speed. He won because he rewired the team around him. He changed the culture. He made them believe again. And now, 2 decades later, you can feel it happening again. But this time, it's Lewis. The man who dethroned the greatest might be about to become the greatest. And if Ferrari delivers even half the car he needs, this season will become something very different. But we're not done yet. Because the SF-26? It's not finished. There's still one piece missing. And according to engineers at Maranello, it's already on its way to Bahrain. It's not just an upgrade. It's a weapon. And when it bolts onto the car, everything you thought you knew about this title fight could collapse.